Okay, so today we have Jason here today, and we're just going to go over his experience with the program, and he's going to share his insight, just pretty much the whole nine yard. And so Jason just recently got an offer letter. So Jason, just go ahead and introduce yourself. Give like a quick 3 to 4 minutes, 3 to 4 sentences, 5 sentences, intro, and then kind of talk about the offer that you recently got to as well, and then we'll pick up from there.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So a little bit about myself. I've been doing cloud engineering for a little bit for a year now. So around the same time when I started the program, and I joined the program to help me close in some knowledge gaps that I had with some of the tech stack, and like the tools that we'd be using. And so, program has definitely helped with that. Docker, Kubernetes, CI/CD, a lot of the big skills that a lot of these jobs are looking for. And so I was able to get the fill in those gaps with the program. So I've been doing that for about a year now. Let's see what else. What was the other question? I'm
And
sorry.
no, you're fine. I'll actually do one question at a time, but you can go in terms of the recent offer you've been able to receive.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I did get a an offer for like 144,000. It was for a role cloud, more like it was like a senior cloud engineer DevOps kind of position. And so that went pretty well. The I had to I think it was through a connection that I had. He used to work there and he had only good things to say about it. And so, kind of when my contract with my current position was coming to an end, and I just put the feelers out there, I just reached out to a recruiter that worked there. And, she looked at my resume, helped me fine tune it a little bit to be specific to the role. And we got it sent over to the hiring manager, and I had an interview with them. And, they just really liked, the energy that I brought to the interview, that I was, really proactive, and they just liked the way I spoke and the way that I answered their questions. And they liked the skill sets that I had. They felt pretty confident they felt confident that I was confident. And so, yeah, overall, that went pretty well. And then the same day I got the interview, the hiring manager called me back and he was like, "Hey, man, we really liked your application. We really want to move forward with you."
Wow.
And and so yeah, so it was pretty quick turnaround. So I was pretty excited about that. And they really liked one of the main things that they really liked about my application, I guess, just my presence and just the way I carried myself and spoke and the way I communicated and the way, I was just passionate about what I do. And so
Yep.
that really went a long way. On top of, of course, the skill set and all the tech stack and everything that I could do. They just really liked me as a person and they thought I'd be like a great cultural fit. So
Okay.
that was nice.
And I want to touch on that. So, like with that specific part, the main reason why you got the offer, your energy, enthusiastic. How did we kind of help you? I know you kind of naturally that's, we talked before, that's naturally how you are, but how did we help you get this offer letter? What are some of the things that you've learned within the program that kind of gave you structure towards like approaching this specific offer letter?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the communicating with people inside the program, those who are like on the leadership side, but then also other peers in the program, just being able to like communicate with them and seeing how they engage and see how you guys, like how you've talked about previous roles that you've been in and kind of seeing the interviews that you've had and just the way you were talking, that was just really good framework to kind of how I did my interviews. And so even I think there's like modules on interviews and how to present yourself and what to say and how to look and things like that. And those they just went really along a far way. Because there's people that they don't put in that kind of effort. So when you do put in the effort, they'll notice that, and like, those are the kind of people that they want on their teams. Not just somebody who can do the job, but somebody who's like a pleasure to work with. Somebody who is like a team player, willing to help out other people on the team, not just do their own work and leave, but just be good team players. And so that was just a lot of the good stuff that you guys covered in the program. And so yeah, it went a long way.
Okay. And how did you kind of feel about the program in terms of like the actual material? I know you came to me, you actually got an offer letter and you said, hey, you want to be able to make sure that you actually know what you're doing on the role that you recently got when you did join the program. But how did kind of talk about like your own experience learning the material. Was it kind of difficult? Was it kind of easy, like in the middle? And then yeah, just your experience learning the skill sets that you were taught in the program.
Yeah, no, the it was laid out pretty well. And I think the way you explain things in the modules, makes it very simple, really easy to use, like the analogies that you use, even like with using AI to help break things down even further into like, explain it to me like I'm a fifth grader and have you using those analogies, things like that. Those tools and techniques and just that way you taught was definitely very helpful and breaking down these really complex topics into like bite-sized manageable pieces that we're able to like digest and understand and have these building blocks to grow off of and to learn even more complex things. And so yeah, definitely the program helped me get to a certain place. And then you guys even teach how to like further troubleshoot and then how to learn new things that may not even be covered in the program because there's always new tools, always new technologies coming out. But if we have that underlying skill set
Yep.
of learning those things and troubleshooting, then we can learn anything.
Exactly. And that was the main thing I wanted to teach because, you know, let's just say something happens to cloud.
Yeah.
Still have the ability to literally learn another domain in tech. But realistically, cloud isn't going anywhere anytime soon. But I wanted to make sure that you have a skill set and ability to really have like a bulletproof skill set, if that makes sense. Because if something
Mhm.
happens, you have the ability to go learn something, to go troubleshoot, to go figure it out, which is a life skill, to be able
Mhm.
to make sure like money will never be a problem. And so, yeah, so would you confidently say you have this skill set to be able to consistently have recruiters reach out to you and for you to consistently go on these interviews and present your project's experience, communicate effectively, to be able to position yourself as one of the top candidates on any job interview? So, skill set of attracting these recruiters to reaching out to you instead of
Mhm.
you applying to 1,000 jobs, and the skill set of you being one of the top candidates on any job interview confidently.
Yeah, I would say so. I've had a fair amount of recruiters reach out to me recently, and one of them even called me this morning. So I need to follow up with them. But even, yeah, like you were saying, positioning yourself as a top candidate, definitely, I would say so. With the tech stack that we go over in the program, but then also like the projects that we do and being able to test that skill set, just goes a long way. And also presenting yourself well, all those things combined, really do help you stand out in a sea of candidates. Um, I kind of I'm in the cleared space, so there's a lot of brilliant people who have clearances and whatnot, and so yeah, being able to stand out in that community as well, it's kind of niche kind of community, being able to stand out there does definitely help, me secure some offers.
Nice, nice. And do you feel like, because excuse me, what I intentionally tried to do was like look at the market and
Hmm.
based on what the market is looking for, like the need of what these companies need. I try to build projects and tech challenges around that. And have you kind of seen a direct correlation in terms of the projects and tech challenges that you've done in alignment with what's, you know, currently in demand of like companies looking for cloud engineers to be able to solve?
Yeah, 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 I would say so. And even in some of the I think in some of the channels, like whenever something new comes out, people are always posting in the community like, "Hey, check out this new AI," or "Hey, check out this new tool that's come out." So it's like even like there's the stuff that's covered in the program, which helps you get into the job offers. But then also as new technologies and as new things are coming out, people are a lot of these people are like they're in the community, they're really hungry to learn more and expand and grow in that skill set. And so they're staying up to date and then in return, like, you get to stay up to date by seeing what's going on and engaging in that. And so, yeah, it's definitely prepared me for the workforce, for like what jobs are looking for now, and even, within the near couple few years. So, yeah.
Nice, nice. And so what if you didn't join? Like what would you say you, what would have happened if you didn't join and get the skill set? How would job security be for you? How would life be for you? I'm pretty sure you would probably still figure it out, but like from your own perspective, like what does that look like?
Yeah, it would be a little bit more challenging. I'd probably be in the, what is it, tutorial hell, just watching like a bunch of videos, trying to learn as much as I can, do some certifications and whatnot. But still, you probably there's probably still be a little bit more of a knowledge gap and a skill gap in what these positions we're looking for. So I would, probably be looking for something. It would have been a bit more challenging for sure. Yeah, to not have like a clear laid out path and plan to reach financial freedom with cloud engineering.
Okay. Do you feel like it would have been like more stressful, more confusing, stuff like that?
Yeah, because that's where that's where I was before I joined the program. I was like, I don't really know anybody like nobody who's like teaching this kind of stuff, like who's using this path, to excel and to grow and like not just to be good at a job, but also the end goal of financial freedom, which is really important to me. So it was just a cool. It's just crazy just how I ran into one of your videos and I was like, oh my goodness, this is great. Exactly what I was looking for. And so yeah, definitely was an eye opener and it was a great program. And um, yeah, to answer your question, yes.
And so not only just the cloud engineer aspect, like making more money, but the actual use that money to build wealth, correct? That's something you were looking for?
Yes, that's the case because I don't want to have to work till I'm 60.
Yep.
I want to retire a little quicker than that. So, yeah, being able to use the skill set to make the money and then put that towards things that are going to make you more money. And so that way you have make some money in your sleep. You don't have to work forever. So that was definitely the goal.
Yep. And um, okay, I won't go too much into that because that's a whole different topic.
Yeah.
But for anybody that's listening, I teach cloud. I teach you how to manage your money. It's like a course that's like 38 minutes long. Like how to never, live paycheck to paycheck ever again, how to increase your net worth, every month. And then, how to make more money in tech, you know, $500,000 a year, which is $25,000 a month after tax in the state of Maryland. And then once you have that $25,000 a month, or even before that, like Jason, right, we give him access to, you know, information to put his money in a vehicle to grow his money, right? Like stocks. And so it's just a program that I've created called the 1% University. And it's an actual university that you'll learn things that matters that you'll use on a day to day. And so, the whole purpose of that is to grow your wealth and to achieve financial freedom. And so going back to the video, um, well, the testimonial, in terms of like, I really want to talk about you know, you know, because I remember you had a job and you just got an offer when you reached out to me. You were like, "Hey, you're not really that confident in your skill." Do you think that the program helped you in terms of like learning the technical, like Terraform, Ansible, things like that, that helped you with the job to make you a little bit more competent?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. Even like breaking it all the way down to what is RAM, what is a hard drive, and just starting from there and just like reestablishing all those skills all the way to like how you said, Terraform, Ansible, CI/CD, what is it, Docker, Kubernetes, it definitely helped a lot.
Okay. And then now, like, how do you feel like your life is? Like, you're able to work remote, you're able to, spend time with your family as you have the little one on your shoulder. But, how is life different now than before?
Yeah, it's great. It's nice having, a bit more job security, just feeling confident in my skill set and my ability to secure job offers. And so, with having, a wife and two kids, it's nice to know that I can provide for them and, we'll never be without, unless like something crazy happened, the whole world goes down. But, at that point, everybody's down. But if nothing like that happens, I'm confident, that we'll be okay. And, it just feels good. It feels good knowing that, I can be a good father and a good husband and be able to provide for my family with the skill set.
Wow. And so before you joined this program, tutorial hell, trying to figure it out, kind of confused,
Hmm.
you know, not really having the skill because you had a job, right? You just got a cloud engineer job and good money. But what I try to focus on is, really giving students a step-by-step formula to get this skill. Because
Hmm.
not only were you able to work the new job that you had, at a at a good competency level. I don't even know if that's the word, but at a good, do the job really well. Um, and even if you were to lose your job, God forbid, but even if you were to lose your job, could you confidently say you can get another offer letter because of the skill set that you learned from the cloud engineer program?
Yeah, yeah, I would say so. That's kind of what was going on currently. My current contract for my current role was coming to an end. And so, I put some feelers out there, started applying using what I learned in the program, the skills and the interview techniques and whatnot. And I got a job offer, before our contract even ran out. So
Wow.
it definitely got to what I was looking for, and I was able to exceed my goals.
And so if you didn't join this program, would you say you would not have that skill set that you just explained?
Yeah, I feel like that would be so. I feel like I definitely, be a lot more worried and stressed out in a situation like this. Trying to look for a job and trying to apply and everything. It's like a job of its own doing all that. So definitely the roadmap makes it a lot more straightforward, makes it less chaotic and hectic as well. So yeah, definitely
Nice, nice. And so the new offer you said is 144,000 a year remote, correct?
correct.
And then this new opportunity came because of the skill set that you learned from the program, correct?
Yes, yes, that is correct.
Okay. And then also, um, so the reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of people they kind of focus on like offers or like anybody that has a program, they're like, oh, here's how to make, this amount in 3 months or 6 months. And I always tell people that's like a lie. No one can guarantee you an offer letter in a certain time because the person that gives you the offer letter is the hiring manager. We don't control that, right? We have
Mhm.
certain influence. Like if you have the skill set, it increases the probability by a lot, which you do have.
That's
And
right.
so now you have a skill set that you can get offers at a higher probability, right? And that is power in itself because even if you were to lose your job, which the contract was ending, you can implement that skill set to be able to get an offer letter. And so
Mhm.
that is like the main thing that I try to get people to see, not really the offer letter, but the skill set, because no one can take that away from you. Like for the rest of your life, do you honestly feel like you have this skill set for the rest of your life?
Yeah, yeah, I would say so. And as long as as long as I stay on top of things are growing and trending, I feel like I'll always be on top, and I'll never have to worry about not having a job.
Okay. And then, I really wanted to emphasize this point, you know, there is power in having this specific skill set. And it could be another skill set, right? It can be cybersecurity, it can be network engineer. Um, but hopefully they include that second piece, getting recruiters to reach out to you,
Yes.
articulating yourself, communicating, being one of the top candidates, like what hiring managers look for, a different type of character, like a specific character, right? Being proactive, enthusiastic, like there's different things that they look for. And so that's another piece that most programs don't teach. But what I want to emphasize is money will never be a problem for you, correct?
That is correct.
And so, but before it's like, hey, you can't consistently or confidently get these offers, right? Because, you didn't have this skill set, correct?
Yes, yeah, that is true. Before I started my current role and at the same time starting the program, like my background was a little like all over the place a little bit. And so being able to like fine tune it and to be specific, to this specific role is gone a long way. Like that definitely has helped recruiters reach out to me because they know by seeing my resume, seeing like, what the skill set that I have, they're like, okay, he's good for this specific role. We'll reach out to him. So it's not like they're like, yeah, well, he does, I don't know. Like, what has he been up to?
Okay, okay. And
So
so
yeah,
and so the program you felt like it was like, okay, step one, do this, you did it. Okay, cool. Step two, you did it. It's like step by step.
yeah, like a plug and play. You just do the work, be consistent with it, and yes, sir, it works.
Okay. And so, anybody listening to this right now, or even your past self, or let's say somebody's listening to this right now, they're on the fence. What would you tell them right now? They're on the fence about joining the program, or they're like searching, different videos to see like, okay, like is this going to work for me? I'm looking for like that that security in somebody, right? What would you tell them?
Yeah, if I'm saying if someone's on the fence, I would say, it's not gonna, it's like you got to put in the work. It's not gonna just miraculously happen just because you joined the program. You still got to engage. You have to do the work. You have to put in the reps, and then that's how you build and grow that skill set. And they have good mentors and trainers in the program that keep you accountable and guide you along the way. Have any questions and whatnot. So I definitely say to those, if you're on the fence, just commit to it. Just do it and commit to it, grow the skill set. Because like in a year's time, you're gonna be somewhere. Might as well in a year's time have a skill set that's gonna pay you for a long time and pay you a lot of money. So that's what I would say. The best thing you can do is just commit to it and reap the rewards.
Okay. And I forgot to ask you this. What were you afraid of, like that would happen if nothing changed back then with your current situation when you first joined the program?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of worried like the same thing might happen, if like, there's any issues with the funding with for like a contract or something, or for any reason, like the job comes to an end, I'll be like, okay, now I'm in the same place, I'm stuck. It's like I need to apply. I don't know like who to reach out to, what to do. I was kind of shooting out in the dark. And so definitely having more of a structured game plan in using my skill set to secure job offers, have recruiters reach out to me, really optimize my online presence and my personal brand in a sense, that has definitely helped.
Wow.
And if I didn't have that, I'd be kind of in the same place as I was before, kind of just like shooting out in the dark, trying to see, who's willing, who's willing to give me a shot, kind of thing.
Okay. The last question is, what is a 1% gem you will give to somebody out there who's looking to, they're just trying to get closer to their goals, and anybody watching these type of videos is more so on the financial aspect. So like what
Mhm.
is something tangible that they can use? Like what's an advice you can give them to kind of get them closer to their financial goals? It could be anything.
If someone, so if or just like a word of advice I would have to somebody who is trying to
Yeah,
get closer to their financial goals.
yeah, who's just closer, like they're trying to get closer to their financial goals. Something tangible that they can use.
Yes, I mean, I would say, find someone like yourself who has been where you are, who can lead and guide you, kind of mentor you through what they did. And so, if it's, so like in a sense, like if it's like a paid mentorship, right? You're paying to avoid all the mistakes that they made for all those years and all the trial and error. And you're just getting like, okay, this is the boom, boom, boom. You just do this, this, and this, and, you'll have a higher chance of success reaching your goals faster than if you were doing it yourself. And so that's what one thing that's always helped me is trying to find a mentor, someone who has just like a couple steps ahead of you. They've been where you're at. They've done a lot of trial and error, and so now you can learn from them, and even maybe even supersede them. And be able to save a lot of time. And be able just to grow your investment even more than you would have by yourself.
Yeah, yeah. And I want to be extremely clear. Anybody listening to this, I always say this on different videos, but you don't have to invest in this program. You can, invest in another program. You can try YouTube University, whatever path you want. It's just my job to expose people to like what's possible in this field. And I want to just shout out to the world. And we do have a program that we do help people. If you're interested, just go ahead and reach out to us on Instagram. Just DM us the word 1%, and me and my team will reach out to you. But more importantly, I want to really touch on what you just said. How valuable do you think it is, because you said to get to where you want faster and to make fewer mistakes, you know, as opposed to, doing it yourself. And so, like, can you touch on that? Like, why is that even important to you? Because do you feel like the investment you made was worth it in terms of like an ROI perspective? Like, did you get your money back? And then the ROI in terms of getting the result faster, like you actually making money faster than doing it yourself.
Yeah, I would say, I would say, I've come a lot farther and a lot along the way in 1 year after I joined the program than if I didn't join the program. And so I would say it goes a long way, to find somebody who's been where you're at, who has gone through the fire and, and if they have a way that works for them and, just to learn from them and use those same techniques and methods because that could save you a lot of headache. That can save you a lot of time, and you can get those results even faster. It's like, why try to reinvent the wheel? If somebody already has a good proven system and method that you can follow, a good blueprint, right? And so I'd rather do that than try to do all that work myself.
Save a lot of time, save a lot of stress. And it's crazy to still see how many people that's just, gone through the system and been successful. But, it's really just like a step-by-step blueprint, and it's not rocket science. Like there's some difficult parts like Kubernetes, like well, Jenkins wasn't too crazy for me, but there's some parts that can, you need to revisit like three, four, 5 times, even for me myself. But, you know, the reward, the light at the end of the tunnel, it's like life-changing, right? And it's not like rocket science. And so do you feel like anybody who's serious, who's not looking for a get rich scheme, like quick type of thing, who's looking to put in work, that's really to go through the system, do you honestly believe that that person could be successful?
Yes, yes, I believe so. And I would say, yeah, the important thing about that is, yes, you do have to commit. You got to put in the work. You got to put in the reps.
Yeah.
And when you show up and you put in the work, yeah, you'll definitely see the results.
Cool, cool. Thank you for your time. Thank you for somebody watching this video, like there's been people in the program now that they've seen different videos and has really helped them, like actually motivated them to take action, either joining this program or even start their own journey outside this program. So these videos actually change lives. And so I really appreciate you coming on here and just sharing your story.
Yeah, no, anytime. Thank you.
Cool. And if anybody's interested in joining the program, there's actually a link in the description below to actually book a call. Or you can go to my Instagram and DM us the word 1%. Me and my team will reach out to you directly to get started. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day.